Where are you from?
Estonia.
No, you're not. You're not from Estonia, are you?
No.
You're deaf, aren't you?
I'm done.
So are you reading my lips right now?
Mostly.
That's incredible.
5'6", dirty blonde, great body, super cute.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
See you later.
It's a beautiful day at the beach. Let's just go for a nice swim.
Freezing cold water.
Yeah.
What is it like? What's it called? Like polar? What is when people get in the water?
Polar dip, polar swim, yeah,
Let's
no
do
thanks.
that.
No thanks.
No.
I wish I was cool to do a polar dip.
You wish, right?
I wish I was cool enough,
Cool
pardon
enough?
the pun, but
You seem cool enough to do that.
no,
No.
no, I'm a bit of a wimp, I
No?
think, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
How to do it?
I try and act like I'm not, but secretly
Look
I
at you,
am.
scared?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you think about us back then, what was it? What was it for you?
I was in love with you. What was it for you?
You were my best friend, and you felt the person I felt at home and safe with, and I loved you so much. And I felt confused sometimes.
I was just gonna say I'm in town all weekend if you wanted to grab a coffee or go for a walk or something.
I'm really busy, you know?
Yeah, no,
Like, I can't do this right now. I can't. It's just too much, you know? You understand, right? Like, the other's about to come and get me, and I'm about to go, you know. Please tell your dad happy birthday and your family. I said hello, and
of course.
and Kate and everything, and here he is, and yeah, good to see you. Hey. You smell like soap.
I snuck into a hotel.
I'm just here to watch you.
Snuck into a hotel.
Who's deaf in your family? What's your name?
Sarah.
I'm Eve. Hi.
The Estonian! Hello!
Yes.
How are you doing so far from home? Do you miss your motherland?
Yes, terribly. I mean, especially the marshy flats in the north.
The marshy flats in the north. Brilliant.
Can I help you with anything?
No, that's okay. I'm out on my own for the first time.
Oh, do you live with your mother?
Jesus, no. No, I had an accident, and this is my first time out shopping on my own.
Please let me help you.
Didn't you see Ray? If I don't do this, then I'll never learn how to play the piano. Actually, can you help me with something?
Of course, sure.
Okay. So can you confirm a couple things?
Yes, okay.
Just confirm, because I think I did a pretty good job.
Okay.
Okay. Jar of peanut butter.
Pork lard.
Pork lard.
Yeah.
Okay. Vitamin C?
It's menopause support.
Menopause support. I don't need that yet.
Live their truth, but those afraid of what they do not know exile themselves from their if only people could be more free to be.
I am so excited for today because I've been trying to get this wonderful actress on Meet the Viz for years now, but she's been so busy doing all these amazing projects. I have to say, I'm getting a little verklempt. Uh, I have to say, she is one of my favorite actors. She is, um, God, she's just truly an amazing human being. I met her, I don't know how many years, maybe 15 years ago. I'm not sure, but we'll find. She has a new movie that's out now, and I bought it. I still love DVDs. Here it is, close to you. I saw this the other night. I have to say, this is I think, one of the best movies of the year, especially for the acting and the performances. I just want to tell you just a second about her, and then I'm going to bring her on because we hopefully will have a full hour with her. Um, she was on Switched at Birth, the movie Sound of Metal, Hollywood Musical, The East, Law and Order, Criminal Intent, Little America, close to you. And we're going to be close to her right now. The wonderful, the stunning, I love her so much, Hilary Baack.
Yeah.
I'm, I love that you're here.
I love that I'm here too. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry it took me so long to get here, but it's
No,
perfect
well,
time. It's perfect time.
it is perfect timing, and I like that you said that because it reminded me of this project that I'm working on and been working on for years, probably about the same time that I first met you 15 years ago. And it's not done yet, but it's perfect timing when it does happen, when it comes out, and it's perfect timing you're here. And I have to say, just on a personal level, you are a healer because we connected this week, and then we connected a month or two ago. And whenever I'm around you, it's just you bring a calmness, you bring a love. You are full of love.
Oh,
Where did you get that love?
thank you. I'm just reflecting you back to you. But I really, I love you, David, and I'm so happy you feel that way, with me, and I feel like that means, we have a beautiful connection, and I try to live my life every day with love at the center, leading me,
Yeah.
So my I love the world and people and life and art and it's exciting. Pours out even more when I feel um, recognized, which you do so well.
Well,
And then I can just pour out and it pours out onto you. And I'm so
well,
happy
thank
that
you,
you
and
feel that.
I thank you, and I love how you said the artists because the artists are so important right now and have always been because they can show the love, they can show the realness, and I just have to say I'm so glad that I'm close to you right now, and close to this. I have
Yeah.
to. This is truly. This was. I mean, the thing about this film are the raw sounds. I mean, now and that's an interesting thing that I just said that because for people, I mean that I don't know if you hear all the sounds in the film, do you? You don't hear all they have subtle sounds in this film, just like the walking, the sounds, the smells, even watching this, the way it is filmed, I could smell when she walks by um, downtown. I could feel the breaths and the chemistry between you and Elliot is incredible. How is that chemistry? Where does that come from?
Um, Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the movie, and I love that you could like smell things. That's amazing, and it's a testament to how much the director was really the way he makes films and has always made them is with a focus on everything being as real as possible. And he uses no artificial light. It just um, there's no like blocking. The camera is just following us wherever we go. I mean, I've never worked that way. It was incredible.
Right.
There were no lines. Did you know that the whole thing was improvised?
That was one of my questions. Did it have a script or was it all improvised?
Yes, I'll tell you. It's all improvised, but there was a script with like an outline of the story of where it was going. And to answer your question about chemistry, we have been friends for me and Elliot have been friends for 10 years. So we worked together on a film called The East. And we didn't get to do that much together in the film. There was one or two scenes that were cut where we were together, but we became, close then, and then we just maintained a friendship. And we both moved to New York at the same time. Also, we were both in LA, and we both moved to New York, and we just have always, I feel like, recognized each other and seen each other. And actually, I feel like there's a connection, partly something that you can't explain, of the heart, but also I think there's a lot of overlap sometimes in someone who is deaf or disabled and someone who is queer. And there's a shared experience of feeling like you're on the outside or you're different. And so I feel like from the beginning, we clicked partly from that perspective of life. And so we love each other as friends, and it was just easy to bring that to the story, and then just let ourselves fall into the story of these two people who were in love and feeling a lot of things being together again.
Yeah. And it showed that chemistry between the two of you, and between the whole cast. Again, it's that rawness, the realness. And what I love too about it was they had a love and a friendship um, years ago, and then years later, they still had that bond and connection. And it reminded me of some people and relationships that I know. So it's,
Exactly, right? Like we all have that where we haven't seen someone for so long, and then it feels like nothing changed.
yeah,
And then of course there's the feeling of the first person that you loved or one of the first people that you really loved. That's very powerful.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you're saying this, it reminds me of friendships or relationships or throughout my life, whether they were for a day, 3 months, or 6 years. It was so wonderful. And what was also wonderful, I mentioned the sights, the sounds, the smells, the silence in this film is golden. There isn't a moment in the film that isn't full. Whether you spoke or whether you walked or whether you just looked at each other, it was so, and
Yeah, that loaded. There was so much feeling, right, that you could feel. It was
yeah.
so,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's acting is reacting. I mean, it is quite interesting. I have so many questions to ask you about so many different things, and usually don't start on the new film, but this is just I'm swimming in it right now. And we had a few, we have people here, um, who have questions, and I want to bring people on throughout the whole event. So I wanted to bring on. Let's see, Leonard. Where is Leonard here? Leonard! Leonard. Okay, I'm gonna try to find Leonard. Oh, there he is, Leonard Felder. Hello, Leonard.
Hi, thank you. So I was so impressed with all the expressions of emotion that were in the movie. I watched it with my daughter. My daughter is transgender and autistic, and we watched it together. And the question I have for you is, there were moments in the movie where your character Catherine and the other character Sam could actually be themselves and not have to be trying. And then there were moments where you could see that they were trying because they were around people that weren't safe or who didn't understand or who threw their assumptions or expectations on them. And I wanted to ask you, as a member of the deaf community, what has been your experience of when are you safe? When are you making a lot of effort? When are you trying to fit in? When are you saying, to heck with fitting in? I just want to be myself in this moment.
Yeah, that's a great question. And yeah, you really did recognize the core of what we were hoping was clear in the story, that Sam and Catherine really were safe spaces for each other. And that, like, Catherine, when she's with her husband, it's not completely safe. He's not signing, he's not really seeing her the way she wants to be seen. And for me, as a deaf person, there have been so many experiences where I feel like I'm working really hard to fit in, so many. And of course, there's just the base layer of communication and reading lips and speaking and trying to keep up. So I would say just about anytime, I would say anytime kind of I'm hearing people where it's more than one person, there's a part of me that feels like I'm not fully just myself. I'm just working really hard. And that's, I mean, that's the experience, I think, for many deaf people. It's just one-on-one that for me, I can find a flow and an ease of understanding. Um, and then of course, it depends on the relationship. There's people, I think all of us know that feeling where you're with someone, you feel like they just don't get you, regardless of being transgender or deaf or disabled. Um, and that's okay too. That's okay. You can just be like, okay, this person isn't for me, and I'm going to keep going until I find those people and places where I feel like I can be myself fully, like I can relax, like I can be me. Yeah, just feel safe. So I hope that answers your question. I mean, it's just so many times where I haven't felt completely safe for myself. I've gotten used to it. I'm aware of, like, oh, I might feel a little like I'm putting on a mask right now. I'm working really hard, and maybe sometimes I have to. It's just something I think a lot of us get used to, and then choose when we're going to be in that situation or not. Or if we're in that situation, how can I leave, or can I bear it a little more? Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
It's such a big experience for so many people, whether you're disabled or LGBT or deaf or, there's so many people who have that experience. And this movie captures a universal experience of how hard am I going to work in this moment.
Exactly. And I love that you say it's universal, because I think most humans have felt that way at some point. And I think it magnified for people in certain communities, right? But I do believe it's universal. And I like that you see that. It's not so niche, it's a human experience. And I hope it can encourage and inspire everyone to just feel more open and accepting and loving of each other as we go through the world and meet each other.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Leonard. Wow. It shows how this film touches so many people. And there were moments in the film, you know, I don't like, I love how it didn't push anything in the face. It was just, it took you along for the story, and it didn't say, hey, I'm deaf. Hey, I'm trans. It just, it happened. There were moments where I love how they captured where you were talking to your husband, I think, and you went, huh? You know, it's like, it's just the little subtle ones, and it built up to it. And then it's just the realization, oh, yeah, this is this person. Um, and I love that. And that was incorporated into the improv style of the film as well. And they caught it, especially with the editing.
Exactly. It was kind of, but two things I'll say about that. The first is that I did really appreciate that I could be a character in this film as a deaf woman, and it wasn't about deafness.
Yes.
That felt really great because that we don't do that often. And then it was interesting to think about, okay, well, how much do I need to show? And of course, I'm not the director, the editor, so it's not not entirely my choice. But I did discuss with them the importance for me of including a little bit of shine. We filmed a lot more that didn't make the cut, but I insist that was the one thing I could please at least show a little to show that part of Catherine's life. But that said, I love that it wasn't about that, and because we were improving, I actually was missing what the other characters were saying. I was saying wow all the time, and I was like, well, good, because we don't even see that often.
Yeah.
In a way that doesn't feel contrived, just the actual reality of being deaf with hearing people who aren't signing constantly saying what. I'm always laughing, saying, I'm thinking of new ways to say what. I'm like, I'm like, what? Could you say that again? I'm sorry, I missed that. Like all the different ways to say what.
Yeah.
But I was happy that that they kept some of those in there because it's important to show that's my real experience. And even Catherine with Sam, part of the story that I don't know, it's not super clear, but when they were younger, that was a part of. So this is like backstory that doesn't make the film, right? But it explains why Sam isn't signing with Catherine, and the reason for that is that Catherine wasn't. Thank you. Catherine wasn't signing back then in high school when they were friends. She was oral. She was raised orally. Should I wait a minute? Okay. She was oral, meaning she didn't sign yet. She didn't know how. She was speaking.
Yeah.
Their relationship when they started, so wasn't a part of Catherine's life. And I didn't learn to sign until I was 16. So there's a similarity.
Oh, so in your life, in Hillary's life, you didn't learn to sign till 16. Is that true?
Right.
Okay.
Yes. But so that's why Sam's not just signing with Catherine and giving her that safe space, but we see towards the end, not to give away too many spoilers, but you see towards the end that he's curious and he's asking about signs. Like
I
maybe
love
he's
that
gonna
part.
go, right? So I thought that was beautiful and important. So with that, yeah, that was it. I just wanted to address explaining why they weren't signing together.
Yeah.
And Elliot doesn't sign. So we couldn't create another story where he's fluent because he wouldn't look fluent.
Yeah.
So it worked out. It made, what I love is that even though it may not be obvious in the film, it's underneath that Catherine, simultaneous to Sam, has come into herself more. She's accepted her own deafness. She's, embodied that life more and signs now. just as Sam has found himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. And
Mm.
and toward at one point too, where there's that little scene in the coffee shop where you introduce your coworker. Again, I won't go too much into it, but it's all these just real natural things. And there's so many levels in society of whether it's the deaf community, whether it's the gay community, whether it's the straight community. Everybody's an individual, so there's so many different levels of it. And this was this character that was played.
Exactly, which is what is so exciting and what I think me and all other deaf actors have been wanting is
Yeah.
for progress to lead us to a place where we're just parts of stories, just like we're part of the world, and we're part of people's lives, and it's not, you know,
Yeah.
our deafness is a part of who we are, but it's not everything,
Yeah.
and it's not the one character trait. There's lots of other things going on.
Right. How long did it take to make it, to film it?
We worked, I think it was 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks.
Right.
I think 5 weeks. We were like a week of it was prep. But the process was just fascinating. We shot everything in order.
Oh, I love that.
Because everything was improvised, and so the director would just tell us to do the scene. We would understand where the scene was to go generally, but we would have the take would go on for 20, 30 minutes. And then he would have us do it again, like 5 or 6 times.
Oh my God.
I was like, do the same thing? I don't remember what I said. I don't remember what I said. Like, so then once I realized that's what he would want us to do, I was better at remembering generally what we said.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But there was an amazing freedom. It felt like when I was a kid and I would make up stories or just play, I could just freely like walk around and the camera was just gonna follow me. And I didn't have to think about, the light or the set or anything.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
In a way, it felt like a blend of film and theater.
Oh.
Just
Well,
because it was like, yeah, because we were longer in the scenes together. So often with film, it's 5 minutes and then they go cut, and then they reset the lights and you wait for 30 minutes and then you do it, and you do 3 minutes, 5 minutes. But to be able to just fall into the scene for 20, 30 minutes and just be in the story, that also brought in all of that like chemistry and the feeling of how real it felt or how loaded it felt was connected to that because we were able to go so deeply and feel it so much, you
Right.
know?
Right. Well, it came across because we felt it. So thank you. Thank you. I just want to let everybody know in a couple of minutes, we'll be having people from the audience ask questions. So be sure to raise your little hand. I have a few other people that said they wanted to ask questions as well. So we'll get to everybody coming up. There's just a few things that I had to mention. And one of them was, and then I'm going to move on because this is just one movie in your many. I mean, I remember seeing you in the East with Elliot, and it was another stunning performance. I went, this actress and I had met you before, at a workshop, and then to see your work on film, it was like, oh, you're just so you don't see you work, you see you live, you see you breathing and being the role, and it's just so the corpuscles, the oxygen within your system. Yeah, it's brilliant. So and yeah, there's a moment in the film that you and Elliot stand up or you and the character Sam, and the visual of the birds flying behind you. It's like, how did they get that to happen? Oh, it was like Prince. Oh my God, I want a snapshot of that.
That first of all, thank you for that, for your love, and for thank you. It means a lot. It's the best thing you could tell an actor. I don't want anyone to see the work. I love it so much. I love falling into the stories and characters I get to play. And that scene, that was such a we had that's a scene that we filmed before, and then it snowed, and they were like, "Let's." It's so beautiful that we have to film that again.
Yeah.
So we went back, and we were like, "Wow, this is gonna be really beautiful." There was so many birds on the water, snow on the beach, and it was sunset, and the sky was pink. It was amazing. We were like, this is beautiful. This is good." As you know, as we were walking along, it was really nice.
Stunning.
It was special. That was, the movie guys were with us that day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know that Natalie Odin had a question, and I'll bring you on, Natalie Odin, wonderful model actress.
Hi.
Hi.
My question for you is, what was it like with working with Elliot Page?
It was amazing working with Elliot. He's such a sweet person, and he's very generous as an actor, and really opens his heart and gives his all, and he's amazing. I feel so honored that he wanted me to do this part with him in his first film coming out. That meant so much to me that he felt that safe with me to do this story together. And it really felt like, I don't know, it was fun. We had a lot of fun too. It wasn't just all serious. But what's funny is we both, I think, really liked the intense moments too. So even though they might have felt heavy or challenging, we really enjoyed that as well. So it was really it was amazing getting to work with him.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know that Jason, who is one of the incredible heads of Spectrum Labs, is here today. I'm going to bring on Jason.
Hey, hello.
Hi.
Hey, thanks, David, and thank you, Hillary, for being here. And I actually watched the film last night with my partner, and we were blown away about how natural the film felt. And it felt like a slice of life, but you were letting us into a very intimate slice of life. And as David mentioned, so first off, I just wanted to say I love the film, and I think now more than ever, we need stories like this being told. So I just salute you for being so brave and telling your story, and especially Elliot as well. And the two of you and your chemistry was just really moving, and I hope a lot of people see this movie. So that's my comment. Second, one of the reasons this movie meant so much to me is, as David mentioned, I run a nonprofit called Spectrum Laboratory. And Leonard, who you heard from before, who asked the first question about and said he had a transgender daughter, that I've written scripts with Alani, his transgender daughter, and we're writing these types of stories. And we know how difficult it is to make these types of stories in this climate in these days. So my question is, was it Elliot who kind of spearheaded it, or the director I know has done work, but just letting us in a little bit on the process of making such an intimate film like this and how you were able to get it made? Because I think a lot of us here are trying to make films and tell these intimate stories and stories about neurodivergent, queer people with disabilities types of stories, but they're so hard to make and get people to green light. So just wanted to know a little bit about how you all were able to make that happen.
That's a great question, and I applaud the work that you're doing. It sounds very important, like you said right now, and sounds like we're doing similar work. And I can tell you the story of how the movie, came to be,
Yeah.
which is the director of this film. He is a British director, and he's been making this style of show, really more 1 hour episode in within series, maybe a few films, all in the UK. And his most recent work was a series called I Am. I think 6 1 hour episodes, each with one woman and her story.
Oh, wow.
And they're really powerful and beautiful. And he made one with Samantha Morton,
Yeah.
and one with Kate Winslet. And I'm saying that because he was coming off of this success, and he was going to do the same series in the States. And Elliot, he contacted several actors and actresses and to chat with them about the story that they could make together for the US version. And the funding for that series fell through. But he was so and when that happened, he also met with me because Elliot and I had been talking about wanting to do something together. So he texted me and said, "Oh my God, you're not going to believe it. I just got contacted by this amazing British director who wants to do stories, and I want to do a love story. And will you do it with me?" And I was like, "Let me think about that." I mean, of course, I don't know, Elliot. I don't know. So anyway, he was so moved and excited by our story that when the funding for the show came through, he still was really motivated to make that story, and that I'll make it into a film. And then, to be honest, because I'm in a similar situation as you, trying to make things, and it's so challenging. The truth is, Elliot's name is what made that possible. So they were able to get the funding because of both his name, and then the director has a lot of experience making this kind of thing. But this was the director's first non-British production. And I think, if not his first feature film, but it's been a while. So it was a big, exciting step for him. And so Elliot did not say, "I want to make a movie about being trans. I want to tell my story." That's not what happened at all. I think it was just that Dominic, the director, reached out, and then inherently, that was Elliot's story happening. In fact, it was at the very beginning of his process of transitioning, and then that they started talking. So that was, but the focus would be on the relationships and the love story, and just then it was probably 2 years after that it just suddenly they're like, we're gonna make the movie.
Wow.
I love when that happens.
I hope you
That's
same
incredible.
kind of yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, that's how it happened. It didn't come from Elliot saying, "I want to tell this story." I think that's an interesting part. It really did come from the director having connected with several people, and then being excited about this.
That's fascinating to know, because I was wondering, because Elliot, like, you would think that this was, like you said, coming out film, but to know it didn't come from that, and then to be such a safe place, like a safe space to do that. I think that you can see in the emotions of your character and Elliot's character how it felt so real and it felt like so personal. So it was amazing. And yeah, it was so brilliant of you two to share your stories like that with everyone. So
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Good luck to you.
thank you.
I have to bring something else up. I mean, you are a singer. I mean, you have this voice. I heard you sing for the first time, and I was like, oh, it was like such a beautiful voice. And you were even in a musical, right?
Well, are you talking about the film that my husband made a long time, or are you talking about the show, the Death Rock show?
Well, the Deaf Wish, I saw Spring Awakening when it was in LA. You were in
Yeah.
that. You were in Hollywood musical, and then you were in what your husband made.
Yes, the film You and Me is the movie that we made, and I wouldn't call it a musical, but there is a song where I'm singing in that. Yes, but thank you. I'm glad you like my voice. I love to sing.
And
And
now
in Spring Awakening, I wasn't singing with my voice. I was singing with my hands.
but still, I mean, whether you sing with your hands or your voice, they're both beautiful. I don't want to get too much because, um, and You and Me, you brought up You and Me. Didn't you direct and produce that and star?
I didn't direct that one. My husband directed that one.
Right.
We wrote it together, and we produced it and wrote it together. He directed, and then I started them.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so check out that one. That's fun.
Yeah. Your husband's brilliant. I mean, and it's amazing to see these two artists, how you work together. It's really wonderful. Gosh.
Thank you. We have fun, especially when we stick to the creative stuff,
Right?
Being creative together. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Hey, we have Bernadette Planting here. Bernadette. Let's see. We'll add spotlight. There we go.
I think I'm muted. Oh, there. Hi. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's so exciting to meet you. I really am looking forward to hearing you sing, so now I've got to look that up and hear that. I have been wanting to learn how to sign while I sing at church from time to time, but when I look at sign language, it doesn't. When you're singing, when someone's interpreting and signing a song, it's different, and I don't know how I can learn that. Where can I go to learn, even if it were just to learn one particular song at a time? Is there some place you could recommend for someone who doesn't sign to learn that? To learn to sign to a song?
That's a good question. I would say when a person does what I'm doing right now, and I'm not doing it perfectly because I'm just doing it on the spot, but it signs and speaks or sings at the same time. It's called SimCom. You lose a lot of the quality of the ASL when you do SimCom, so I'm sorry to all the deaf people watching. I'm sorry. So when you are really going to sing and sign something at the same time, it's more work than you would think. You need to sit down and translate the song into ASL, which is not going to be word for word.
Right.
You're going to think about the concept of what you're saying. You're going to think about the visual of what you're saying. So what you're signing is often very different from the English words coming out of your mouth. So I would suggest focusing on one or the other.
Okay.
To start, for sure. And I would see if you can find someone deaf or an interpreter to come stand with you and sign at the same time. And then that would be my suggestion. And eventually, if you wanted to try to do both, I would just make sure that you're maybe checking. Do you know any deaf people? Are there any deaf people at the church or in the community?
Not at this time, but a church I had belonged to many years ago did. And I used to just, it was beautifully mesmerizing to watch a friend of mine, Alitas, who was did translation, but it was very different when she was signing a song along with someone. And it would make me cry. You could see that they weren't the same words because I had been watching her so much with her husband and her boys signing all the time because we were like the Bobbsey twins at that time in life. I can't believe I didn't pick it up. But when she was signing a song, it was very clear she wasn't signing the same words, but I could see it. I could feel it. It was like flowing with a river out of her hands and her facial expressions, and I just admire it so much. But she lives far, far, far away, so I don't know where to learn it. But anyway, sorry.
And if you're wanting to know where to learn, just start. There's apps, there's websites. You can start online. You can try to find a deaf teacher who will teach you online. There's lots of places where you can start. Maybe there's maybe there's a deaf teacher that lives where you do locally, and you could find out if there's a class and just start, and you can start picking it up and practicing and having fun with it.
But you said it was called, did you say SimCom? What did you say it was called for the
SimCom is short for simultaneous communication.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
I'm signing and speaking at the same time.
I see. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernadette. I wanted to first question that I do have is do you have to leave right at 12 noon or can we go to 12:15?
I can go to 12. I can go to 12:15. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Because we have so many questions and I have so many questions and I love visiting with you.
And I was late too, so yes.
Listen, I was a late birth, so but yeah, at least I'm here. So when did you first know that you were a creative artist?
When did I first know? I mean, I was first doing things that were creative when I was very young. So I was playing make believe and acting things out and doing plays, writing plays. When I was very little, getting all the kids in my neighborhood to do shows with me for our parents or friends or nobody. Stories about like two sets of twins finding each other like under the just ridiculous when I was 7, 6, 7, 8 years old. And so I've been doing this the acting, the writing, the directing since I was so little. But I feel like as a kid I loved it and I did it. It was my favorite thing. And then it was a little later for me that I accepted that about myself, that I was serious about it. Yeah.
No, what about photography? When did that jump in?
I started playing around with photography when I was 13 with my dad's old camera from the 70s.
Yeah.
And also like making my friends like model for me. We had fun. It was very fun. It was a very 13-year-old goal of me to do all that. And then but I continued to take pictures in my photography. It evolved through time. Yeah.
Well, I have to say, I would love to be a model for you.
Please do. I would love it. We'd have so much fun.
Maybe when I come and visit.
Absolutely. We'll get you on a meadow or by the river, something beautiful.
God.
Whatever you want.
Right. I'll play Adam. I'll wear a fig leaf. No. Maybe not. That wouldn't be.
Perfect.
Okay, let's get another person in here. Brian Pierce. Brian Pierce is here today.
Hi, David.
Hey,
Hi,
Brian.
Hillary.
Hi.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
My 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 best friend Alasha, who's amazing. He's amazing acting, and she's also amazing singer. We like to both like being acting, and be a singer. How can you go about doing that for me and my best friend Alasha?
I'm sorry, Brian, can you repeat your question?
Yeah. Me, my best friend Alasha, who is an amazing actress. She's she's an amazing singer. We both would like to. We would like to. We would like to be go into. We would like to go into acting and singing. How do you go? How do you go about doing that for me and my best friend Alasha?
That's a good question. And are you're an actor too? You and your friends?
Yeah.
Yes, that's my dream.
What's your dream? Acting. I would say, I'll start by saying I feel like I'm still figuring it out. I'm finding my way. So I've observed everyone has their own path. There's not one clear right way. I think some of the best things I've learned along the way are to really, this is pretty obvious and we hear this a lot, but to really enjoy the moment and the journey and not be right, to keep that at the center as opposed to where you're going. So you can keep those dreams and goals, but really be enjoying every step. And I would also say, anytime you can make your own work, do that. And I feel like it's so important for actors to feel empowered instead of waiting for someone to give them an opportunity. To try to make your own opportunities. With in finding other people you can collaborate with, making those opportunities, trusting yourself, doing the thing that makes you feel excited. Taking classes, continuing to learn and grow, and meeting people. Those are the best things I've learned so far.
That's wonderful. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
So Hillary, what are you most proud of?
That's a hard one. But it's not too hard. I'm most proud of my children. And of raising them up.
Yeah.
So,
Beautiful children, beautiful family.
thank you.
And now that you talked about the life and your family and the children, what about, do you have something that you have done artistically so far that you are most proud of?
About that one. Well, maybe it's from a long time ago, but maybe I would say it's sort of the feeling of the pride that I have about it feels like a different flavor than maybe things I'm working on right now, which I feel excited about. But I did a one-woman show so long ago when I was very young, that it was an hour and I wrote it, and of course I wrote it, but it was my story. So it was very vulnerable for me. And like everything else I've done wasn't my hasn't been my real story.
Mm.
And so that felt, there was another layer of something challenging
Mm-hmm.
with that. It took more courage for me to stand on the stage and just tell my story instead of, I can always hide a little bit behind a character, even though I'm really right there. But to just tell my story like that on stage, I feel proud of that. And I have to say, I didn't create that show to be therapy at all. But at that time in my life, I felt like I was still really struggling with some of the challenges of being in the world as a deaf and disabled woman. And I was still really feeling a lot of that pain often. And I wrote this show and I stood on the stage and I just list my disabilities clear and told funny stories and moved people. Most of the show was more funny, and then towards the end it was more moving, and I was making eye contact with the audience throughout, so I really felt like I was connecting intimately with everyone and feeling like we were all connected. And when that show was, and in that connection, I felt like I was really seeing each of these beautiful people who were there, and that they were also seeing me, which sort of circles back to close to you. But when that show was over, I felt like so much of what I'd been struggling with, the fear, the pain, I had taken it out and put it into this beautiful box that was like a gift or something that I could share. Other people could feel things and maybe think about things in a new way, but I also felt more free and light myself, and I didn't struggle much at all with the day-to-day, just the constant, people saying things, things happening because I'm deaf, or I have a disability with my left foot. Those things weren't bothering me anymore. I wasn't feeling the pain that I had been feeling, and I think it was the show. So I'm proud of that for all of those reasons.
Well, it what's so great about what you're saying too is what it brings back what you said a few minutes ago about create your own work. And you do that, which is and it inspires me in the sense because sometimes I start creating my own work and I have this thing in the back of my head, or sometimes I do the work, which when I do it, I feel great. But then there are other times where I go, oh, can I do this? Am I good enough? And this and that. And I just go, snap out of it. Like Cher.
Stop, just do it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be beautiful. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Yeah. It's gonna be uniquely you, and the world needs more of that, of you. Yeah.
Well, we have a couple more questions here. We have Raquel Chavez. Raquel Chavez.
Hi, I had a question for you.
Hi.
Hi. How do you like most to be an actor or a director most, and why?
Which do I prefer, acting or directing?
Yeah.
With directing, I haven't done nearly as much directing as I have acting. I don't want to pick. I like them both so much. Don't make me pick. I like them for different reasons. I mean, I love acting so much. I love falling into the story and the character, like I was saying before. I really do. I feel it's such an amazing feeling. And at the same time with directing, I really love having a vision and being able to kind of bring that vision to life, and feeling like I have something to say. and that's really exciting too in a different way. So I don't want to pick, but that's my answer. I like them the same right now, and maybe that'll change. Thank you.
Oh, I love that. And I love that answer too, because it's like it's just another facet. There's so many facets of ourselves. So, you know, we could love all facets of ourselves. Hey,
Exactly. Yeah. We don't have to pick one thing. We're complex people and we can do lots of different things and bring them together. Yeah. I love that.
Mark Wells. Mark Wells is in the house.
Hi.
Hi.
I got a question about the transgender.
Okay.
Yeah. During you know, all the actors and actresses being transgender, does transgender actors and actresses trying to accept roles in different kind of movies, does anything have to do with that? Or anything?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a good, okay. That's a good question, and I am not transgender myself, so I feel like I'm not the best person to answer this question. Um, but I think what you're asking is like, for example, Elliot himself is transgender. Are you asking if he could play roles for boys as well, like cis man, for a cis male as well as a transgender man? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I'm guessing. I'm not
Oh,
the right person to answer you because I'm not transgender, but from my friendship with Elliot, I would suspect or guess that he would say yes, he would love to play other roles. Yeah.
Because I've been a PASW member for 14 years. Is it very, very difficult to you know, to accept you know, because it doesn't matter if anybody's you know, disabilities and transgender, to accept roles and stuff. Do you have to wait patiently to you know, do you have to wait patiently to accept roles and such, you know, like movies, TVs, commercials and stuff? Is it possible you have to wait for like 6 months to accept the roles, or you have to wait longer to accept roles?
And here's a good, you know, listening to your question, Mark, which is it's very good. Is how do you do it? I mean, as you, Hillary, in this industry, sometimes you get the roles, sometimes you don't. Sometimes the agent doesn't call you for a while. How does that work, and how do you deal with it? Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Great question. It can be really frustrating. And I've really had to keep learning about patience. Because you're right, there's not a lot of roles just popping up for people with disabilities. I think it's getting better and better for sure than it was 14 years ago. Like you said, 14 years you've been part of this group. It's getting better. But I remember when I was living in LA and in New York, and my friends who were actors who didn't have a disability, and who were not trans or any, you know, but they had so many auditions, and I would feel like, wow, that is not. I felt like I would get, if I was lucky, 4 auditions in a year.
Mm.
Still, I mean, this past year I had 2. It's not many.
Even with this?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, how do I answer this? It's really, it's so challenging, and my answer to the reading has been to write and to make my own work. Because if I'm just reading for me, I would just go crazy.
Right.
Because there's just not, and I feel that it's wonderful for us to make to tell our stories. So even if you're not a writer, finding someone who is a writer
Yeah.
and collaborating with them and saying, let's think about a story together. Or do you want to write a story with a part for me in it? Whatever, to start things, to move things forward. And even if nothing happens with that, even if you just film something on your phone, you have something to show people too of what you can do.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's very hard. Another example is I was offered a role in a film. I'm so excited about it, but I've been waiting for 2 years for that film to happen. I think they can't get funding. So that's an example where I thought, oh my God, this is so exciting. But I've learned through the years to kind of like, okay, let's see what's next. So now I've been waiting for 2 years for that movie to happen, and maybe it won't happen. That's okay. I think the more you do it, the more you learn and realize with each role or audition to just try not to get attached, to try to enjoy the process, and then let go and move on to the next thing and make your own stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant advice. I have one last question to ask you. What do you want the most at this moment in your life?
What do I want the most? Do you mean in terms of my art or anything?
Anything.
So many things for the world and for people, How to answer that? I want the most for. My answers are cheesy. Is that okay? I just want everyone to feel safe. I want peace. I want everyone to feel like they can thrive and do what they love and be who they are. And I want to be a part of that too. I want everyone to feel the love that's in their hearts and to share that and for that to grow and impact each other and for maybe things to get better.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Kind of just and for us to see all of the beautiful things and for those beautiful things to grow and help each other. I hope that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's so important. And the word that stuck out is my favorite word, love. And we have to keep that love alive through ourselves and through our art, through our connections for this world. So thank you.
Thank you.
They told me, pa-dum-pum-pum-pum, our newborn king to see, pa-dum-pum-pum-pum. Our finest gifts we bring, pa-dum-pum-pum-pum, that's fit to give a king, pa-dum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum. So to honor him, pa-dum-pum-pum-pum, when we come, baby Jesus, pa-dum-pum-pum-pum. I am a poor boy too, pa-dum-pum-pum-pum. I have no gift to bring, pa-dum-pum-pum-pum. that's fit to give a king. Pa-dum pum pum pum, pa-dum pum pum pum, pa-dum pum pum pum. Shall I play for you? Pa-dum pum pum pum, on my drum.
Oh my God, to have you here again is I am so blessed to call you a friend. And thank you.
Me too. Me too. Thank you so much, David. It was such a pleasure. I love
Oh,
chatting with you and everyone here. I loved all of the questions. Thank you.
oh, and I want to thank Hope, Simon, and Lucy for interpreting. Why don't we do a group shot? We'll do a group shot now. And let's see, I'm gonna just get that to everybody here. Hold on one second. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. Remove spotlight. No, I want to remove all spotlights. I'm still learning. I've been doing this. We have like almost 400 episodes now, and I'm still learning. I'll remove all spotlights. Here we go. Oh, okay. So now, what are we going to say for this group shot on the count of three?
Love.
What?
What are we gonna say?
Love?
Love. Love.
Okay, on the count of three, everybody. It's all about love. 1, 2, 3.
Love.